And then if you have any more things that you want me to show, that let me know. And if you can stop me and ask questions along the way, or if you want me to make notes of what you would want to know about it in more detail in the future, then we can set up, I'll write that down and we can set up a time to do that, to have another session. But let me just start with the few slides that I have. Can you see the slides?
Yes.
Fantastic. And that's something that I want to comment on and give a big thank you to Dr. Lancaster for doing for us, is that he's even offered to take in some of our questions and some of our concerns, and then continue to meet with us in future meetings throughout this semester.
Yes, and I can meet with any of you individually, or if you have questions about your particular topic, or if you want to tell me a topic while when we get to the search portion, we can try out different keywords. Well, I'm assuming most of y'all are just working from somewhere else other than commerce. Well, I don't know, some of you may be in commerce, but anyway, we do have a physical library, although we're more and more moving to purely online. When you are searching, one thing to keep in mind, and the searching is all done online, even if you're at the library. The card catalog, everything begins with an online search. But basically, there are two sides to a search that you might do. There's the catalog, which is comparable to what used to be a card catalog. If any of you can remember back or have heard about that, there used to be physical card catalogs. Well, now we still call it a catalog, but it's online. And so when you're searching in the catalog, you are looking at material that was specifically selected, like one at a time, for our library, whether that would be print books or ebooks. There's DVDs, journals, newspapers or magazines, things that we have specifically selected for our collection. And many of those are electronic at this point, but there's still things that librarians selected, or someone, a faculty, told us we want that item. So that's the catalog. And then the other thing are the multiple databases that we have, and we've got close to 300, and many of them are subject specific. We have some that are in the area of counseling. Others are broadly, just everything academic, all academic things. There's a few that include popular type things, and there's some that are format specific. They're newspapers, or they're streaming videos. There are a few that are images and streaming sound, or also, and those are the databases. And we have a federated search, which, if you're familiar with the library homepage, you'll see this search box when you go at the top of the library homepage. And that, what it means by federated is that it searches in as much of our resources as possible, which will include both the library catalog as well as most of the databases. I think there might be a few databases that, for some technological reason, don't work with it, but it's almost all of them. So you actually have then sort of three things you can do. You can do a federated search, which is like throwing out a huge net, and you will likely get millions of results, but it's very easy to quickly narrow that down. Or you can look just in the library catalog, or you can look just in one of the databases. So there's three ways to start out with. This is what one search looks like. and we'll do a search in a minute. And then just as these are just some of the databases that I thought might be applicable. You should be familiar, or you should become familiar with the databases that are in the area of counseling. And the two main database providers we have are EBSCO and ProQuest. And we have a few others like Gale and Taylor and Francis, but EBSCO and ProQuest are two major database providers, and you'll be familiar with the interface of each of them. They have the same tools and the same, they go about they go about getting the information in the same way, but they'll look slightly different, and you'll find that the components might be slightly different place on the page, but they both generally work the same. We have the Counseling and Therapy in Video, which is a relatively new database for us, as well as the DSM library. I think, and then I think that then these psychology databases here will include counseling items as well. And then over here on the right with general and related, these are databases that cover broad topics, but I just kind of figured that they had some crossover with counseling. Certainly the education databases, if your thing in counseling is education related, but you'll see we also have like the Archives of Sexuality, Gender, Ethnic News Watch, Religion and Philosophy. I just thought, maybe that some of your topics might cross over with that, and just to be aware that we have those out there, as well as mental measurements and tests in print. What used to be, for us at least, it was a print resource. Now it is digital, and you search that. Credo is a good reference source. Like, we used to have a print reference collection, and we had, and in fact, I was familiar with exactly where everything was. And when maybe a counseling student would come in, I could point to, oh, that's where the encyclopedia of counseling is, or whatever. But now it's, again, we don't have a print reference, and it's much easier to find things digitally, but you need to be aware of what we've got. And Credo is a good reference source. And in your writing your dissertation, if you want a definition for something, don't use Wikipedia. I mean, you can use Wikipedia to locate something, or to just familiarize yourself with the topic, or to brainstorm ideas. But if you want a definition of a test instrument or concept, go to something like Credo to get that. And I don't know if how familiar y'all will be with Boolean operators. I just wanted to kind of broadly go over those, because those are how you put together the keywords that you're searching with. It really is the same search principle as Google or another internet search engine. The three main Boolean operators, and, or, and not. And I've also got kind of illustrated here phrase searching, which is when you put quotation marks around two or more words. So when you use and, you are making your results smaller, because you want all of the terms that are joined by and to be in the search. So in this case, we've got psychotherapy and eating disorder. And one circle is everything that has psychotherapy. The other circle is everything in the database that has eating disorder associated with it. And it's those two words in that order. Because if you don't put it in quotation marks, it will prioritize eating disorder. But then as you go down, it's going to be eating in one place and disorder in another. And they may have likely will have nothing to do with the actual meaning of those two words when they're together in a phrase. If you don't use a Boolean operator in between more than two or more keywords, it will assume that you mean and between them. So it will just sort of insert those. So that's why it's important to be aware of the other operators and also to use phrase searching with the quotation marks, because if we didn't put quotation marks here, it would assume we mean eating and disorder. On the other hand, or make sure search bigger, because it will include both. You will have results that include one, the other, or both. And that's really useful when you've got synonyms or different ways of phrasing something, like social isolation or loneliness. And a lot of times in the databases, when you start typing something, like if I had typed in social isolation, and then when I started, after I typed the word or, it will like do, I think it's called autocomplete, or it'll give me all these suggestions that will pop up for other synonyms. And that is a good way to discover the different ways of phrasing your idea. You really need to go into a search understanding that the words that you have in mind that sort of in your mind describe your search project, the database may use different words. And that's where I sometimes recommend to use like Wikipedia, just to discover like what are other things that people used to call social isolation or global warming or whatever idea there might be. You can kind of know what those are by turning to either the database or whatever other sources you have. Not, I don't, it's less frequently used, but it is a good thing to use after I've done a search and I find that I've got a lot of results that are irrelevant for whatever reason. For instance, with eating disorder, maybe I'm sort of just interested in a certain type of eating disorder that is not bulimia. And so I would add to my search, not bulimia, and then it just sort of focuses my results down. I don't usually use not until after I've done a search and I look at the search results and I say, oh, it's too big. There's all these irrelevant things. So just remember and, or, and not, as well as phrase searching with quotation marks. And also remember to spell everything properly, because unlike Google, which will often recognize a close misspelling, and it will say like, did you mean so and so, and it will give you results anyway. The databases generally don't do that, and it will just say 0, didn't find anything. So if you get 0 or very few results, the first thing I do is check my spelling. And you can, add, you can have nested searches so that like with children, pandemic, and mental health, you're sort of casting 3 nets out there, 3 different ideas, but you're getting a very small search result that only have all 3 of those things in them. However, the more things you add, the smaller your thing is going to be, and you may have something that's so specific that you don't find anything, and then you've got to kind of cut it into 2 different. Like if if you will have perhaps a very specific topic, but there may not be anything or very few things written on that topic, and so you've got to sort of break it up and find, and then you're the one that pulls the ideas together. This is the last one, and after we look at searches, these are a few of the things I wanted to show you on the library homepage. And there maybe we'll have some things come up after we do the searches. So let me go now to the library homepage. So does everyone know how to get to the library homepage? There's a link in the, I think there's usually one in D2L in your classes, and or you can remember it's the URL tamuc.edu and then add /library to it. And you'll see here is one search. Before I go into one search, I just want to show you there's Ask a Librarian, where, I mean, you can come down here and find me, and you can click here. And if you want to just ask me a question, you can find my email and office number there. Or if you just want to ask of whatever librarian is available to answer, you can go to Ask a Librarian, and then you type your question in here. The things with the asterisk have got to have something in them, or it won't work. I mean, it'll tell you, it'll give you an error message. And you can put, even though there's just like one line in the box, it can be as long as you want it to be. And submit the question. And if it's 8 to 5 on Monday through Friday, there's one of us that are assigned to be watching this. And in fact, it's likely then that you would see a little chat widget here on Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. And if you don't want to send a message, if you want to chat with us directly, you would click over here on the right on chat. But if nobody's monitoring chat, you ask the question and Ask a Librarian, and then we'll get back to you very quickly. And if it's at night, we'll get back to you sometime between 8 and 9 the next morning. But to do a search here, I'll do, let's see, what was the, I'll do the one that was in my, and I haven't done this search before, so I don't know what's going to exactly come up. Children in pandemic and mental health. Remember, this is a federated search that's looking at everything. And you're probably familiar with this, so I won't spend a lot of time except to show you quickly how to narrow it down in case you don't know. So I've got almost 134,000 results you can see here at the top. And the default sort is by relevance, which means the things at the top of the list are more highly relevant to what terms I put in. But you can narrow down over here on the right under filter your results. If I wanted peer-reviewed journals, I could click. And notice when I hover over something, I get a box on the left that means include it. And I get this red box on the right that means exclude it. So you can either include or exclude something. And let's say I wanted peer-reviewed journals. On the other hand, if I wanted books, I would do under resource type, and I would pick books here. But I'm just going to pick, peer-reviewed journals, and you can also narrow by date. And this publication date is just going to be based on the whatever my results are. And I'm not interested in something all the way back to 1910. So although, it might be interesting to, if there were articles about other pandemics that, that you wanted to compare to. And then I can click apply filters. And finally, well, You can look at these others. Subject is especially helpful sometimes, even to see if you want to know, well, how does the scholarship break up this broad topic? And they've got, COVID-19, but then they've also got, they look at just males, or they look at just adults, female. So you can pick or exclude any of these. And I also find it useful sometimes to see what are the major journals that this is in. And you may know of a specific journal that is important, and these are the top journals in my list. Or to even know what database. With these, by collection, it means database. And this might help you to sort of say, oh, I didn't think about looking in CenAll Complete. That's a nursing database. So maybe, that's where you might pick up an idea to branch out to a database that you hadn't thought about before. So that's one search. But if you want to look in a specific database, you would go to click on databases, and then you will get all, well, we actually have 342 now. So this is all of them. And, or you can go to a specific letter of the alphabet if you know the database that you're looking for, or you can go under all subjects. And we do have counseling, although keep in mind, I don't know who makes this. I don't know who assigns, like picks out of those 342, which one are counseling related. There may be, I'm positive that there would be good databases for any of you that aren't necessarily going to be in this list. So be ready to, to branch out to other databases. We'll look at psychology and behavioral science. Again, you probably, if you're off campus, you get this login. Hopefully it will work, because my account was locked this morning. I had to call and, okay, you might have noticed they default to the basic search on all the databases. I prefer to use the advanced search, but the other librarians decided for beginning researchers, it's better to just give them a Google-like search where there's just one box and it's less confusing. But for advanced researchers, I think it's better to go to the advanced search. So just click on advanced search whenever you get, and then here you can put in your terms. You can, again, the default thing is and, but you can change it to or not. Does anyone have a topic that they want to try to find something?
The floor is open. Does anyone have any research ideas that they want to maybe?
I'll
Take this
throw it
vote.
out. I'll throw
You're
it
all,
out.
I don't know if you know, you're all muted, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Brent, these are yours.
Okay, let's try rural and the phrase disaster counseling.
No results. So I think I will go, I'll just look at disaster counseling and see. So I only get 2 with that. So I know I need to find another term for this. So maybe these 2 might be exactly, what we want, but we need more than 2. So
Crisis counseling.
Mhm.
yeah, that's why I like to look at the subject areas here. Crisis might be good. I don't know. They've got emergency management. I don't know if that's similar. Natural disasters, psychological aspects. Let's try this. I say I put disaster or crisis and counseling. And I get 648. And again, the default sort with these are going to be by relevance. So higher relevance at the top. But I can, I probably don't want anything. Let's say I just want the last 10 years. And I just want peer reviewed, although notice there's 203, that cut it down from like 600 to 203. And I want just peer reviewed. So now I'm down to 173. This is starting to get to the limit where I can conceivably at least glance at all of the titles. When I mean, I continue to try to, focus it down, but at some point, if I'm sort of lost at any avenue to go down for adding new terms or something, I just start looking through the results, especially keeping in mind that the top of the list are more than likely going to be the better results. So looking at to see if, are there any here that like match what I want, or that maybe don't, or maybe I'm finding there's a lot that deal with something I don't want. And so I figure out a way to cut those out. I can look again over here in subject. And this is the EBSCO interface. When we looked at the OneSearch, we were looking at the ProQuest interface, and they work a little bit differently. EBSCO doesn't let you, it doesn't give you the exclude thing, but what it does do, it gives you a bigger list to deal with. So you notice when I clicked on subject, I get the top 6, but I get show more. So I can actually see many, many more than that. And this is another place where I can find, I mean, we've got crisis and we've got disaster. Maybe there's another term that we could find here that would, that would be a similar synonym for what, or like, but anyway, that's, yes.
Sorry, what button did you hit to go here? I looked away for just a second, and when I came back, oh, okay, on that side.
So what I did, I first checked scholarly peer reviewed, then I changed this to a more recent year. It was 1970. Sometimes I find a lot of my results are book reviews, because even though a journal is peer reviewed or is considered to be peer reviewed, it's possible not everything in it, and it's likely not everything in it is peer reviewed, because it will include editorials or book reviews. So if there's a whole lot of book reviews, you can just click academic journals, and then you're going to throw out those 2 book reviews. But then you click on subject, and that's where if you can click on publication too, and again see, and here you can see them all. And there may be, a top journal that you're very familiar with, that, or you can discover what the top journals are in that area. So I like this feature of EBSCO. The thing I like about ProQuest is that you can exclude things. So anyway, then, and probably y'all know how to read, you know, you click on the title and you'll get an abstract, and you can, is there anything about the database that you have a question about?
I think it's clear on the database, and for me, the Boolean search. I was wondering, and if you're not going to cover that today, that's fine. Just tell me to send that separately or wait for an additional training. About journal searches, specific journal searches. And
Yes.
okay.
Yeah, I can tell you that. Yeah, oftentimes you either want to search in a journal, or you have a citation. You know, you're looking for a specific article that's in a journal. And what you do for that is, well, you can either search by the title here in the one search, or you can click on journals. And I usually start with this, with journals. And if I don't find it here, I go back to the one search, because this uses a product or a tool called Browsing. And I don't think it doesn't include, there's a few things it doesn't include. So if I don't find it here, I go back and look just to double check. So you can either put in the name of the specific journal that you know, or you could, I think counseling, you could browse by subject. I think counseling is in social science. Not sure. Well, I'm not sure which one it is. So another thing you can do that it's not going back. It's going to start over. Another thing I do sometimes is I just put in the word that, like, I could put in the word counseling, and it's just going to give me all the journals that have that word in it that are in the browsing interface. But is there a specific counseling journal?
Yeah. Yes. So when I've tried to go on before, I wanted to search Journal of Counseling and Development, but then I have a list of counseling journals, and I was wondering, can we search those journals, all like multiple journals at the same time, or would that be a matter of using an advanced search and putting in ISSN number and or you know what I mean? Or did that not make sense at all?
Yeah, you want to pick out a set of journals and search in them.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
I think, you could do it, but I think it would be easier to just do one at a time.
Okay.
I'll have to look. I don't know of a way that wouldn't be. Well, let me show you how it works with this. So I guess this is what the one you want for in this case. It wouldn't be through browsing that you would do that, although you can add it to your bookshelf. So, which would require, you would create your own account in browsing, and then you can add it to your bookshelf. But it's not going to let you do the kind of search you want, but it will, it'll be sort of more readily findable to you. So when starting out here, this is where, like, you would just browse through, and it shows you the most recent journal, or the most recent issue of the journal. And if you knew, if you were looking for a specific citation, you would pick the year and then the issue. But if you want to search in it, you go to see all. Oh, and here again, I guess it's counseling psychology that I was trying to find before in that browsing subject list. That's if you wanted to look at those. But if you click see all, that's where it's going to take you to do a search. And it's actually going over into where we would have found it if we put it in one search. And if you click on the title, it will show you what databases it's in. And you'll see it's in a whole lot of databases. And notice that there are different years of coverage. So it's in ABIN form, but only for 88 to 2013. It's in this database from 2004, but it's in this one from 1984. So I'll pick the EBSCO which is the most complete, going back to 84. And again, you can sort of drill down to a specific year if you want, or you go to search within this publication. And I'm going to go to, and this is where you could do what you wanted, but so I've got journal, which I don't, those are, I don't, there's like a two letter acronym or abbreviation that goes with each of these field options. And journal is the one for that, but you could put like JN, Journal of Counseling Development, and then you could do or JN and whatever else, and you would do, or, you know, you would just have them all joined together by or, but I mean, that would be very time consuming to do, but once you set it up, I guess you could save that search, and you could, whether you had like 10 journals in it, you could just save it and use it over and over again. But probably I would go about just doing it individually. So then you would put in your and I got 3 articles with pandemic. Another thing to be aware of, kind of related with that, I might show you so got Journal of Counseling and Development. If you've got a journal and you want to know, is it like, you really want to make sure, is it the kind of journal I want? It says it's peer reviewed, but I want to find out more about it. There's a database called Ulrichs. If you go to databases and then and Ulrichs is a database that is about periodicals or journals. It'll give you information about them. So you put the name. Capitalizations don't matter, but spelling does. I don't know, maybe I didn't, okay, it's down here. Usually it's at the top, but so you'll want to pick one that's active. There's sometimes sometimes there's a journal that, I mean, 2 different journals have the same name. So you'll want to, look to see the country or the publisher to make sure you're picking the right one. We've got these 4, which are basically all the same, but I'm going to pick the online one. I think it probably will give you the same information either way. So now this is where I get the information. Also, I like to go to this if I want to get the URL for the journal. If I, oftentimes now like the author, what they put out, that they tell their authors what they how to submit, or the format it's got to be. It used to be published in the front of the journal, but now it's more often than not on their website. And I prefer to get the official website from Ulrich's rather than just Googling it and hoping that the result I get is the actual thing that I want. Well, I know here that's going to be the real one. And you can look at additional title details. And here it says refereed or peer reviewed. So I know that it's just one more assurance that it's peer reviewed. And if you don't know, if you really can't find it, in a database, you can also go to online availability, and it will give you databases, and it's in Web of Science, and as well as other. That's just helpful if it's some obscure journal and you're not sure where to even find it. So Ulrich's is a good thing to use. You probably know about dissertation abstracts, or ProQuest dissertations in journals, or dissertations and theses. That's where you would find dissertations. I don't know if do y'all use like instruments, like testing instruments to, a lot of times I've had success finding instruments by finding them in dissertations, because oftentimes if someone has written a dissertation and they've used some instrument to collect their data from people, it will be reproduced in the appendix of the dissertation, and oftentimes has, how to contact the person to get permission to use it, if you need permission to use it, or where it's published. So have had success with that by looking in the dissertations and theses database. And I don't think I'll go into detail on how to find things there, but I will show you that we have research guides, and I've written a few that are, I think, important. We'll go to by owner and then look at me. And dissertation 101, and also PsycInfo, I give a lot of, PsycInfo has some unique search features that I put just kind of described in that research guide. But looking at the dissertation 101, this last tab, surveys and other instruments, is where I tell about how to find, some obscure survey that you might be wanting to find. And then these other tabs will tell you how to do searches in the database, as well as finding dissertations that aren't in the database, because a lot of universities don't necessarily put their material in the ProQuest database. Are you all familiar with interlibrary loan? That and I don't know if you all have encountered this. They had some kind of I don't know what it was. There was something happened with the software or something like that, and about 10% of the people who had already used interlibrary loan had their logins not work anymore. And if that's the case with you, if you find you can't log in, or if you have any issue with interlibrary loan, because if you click on interlibrary loan, it doesn't actually, it just takes you right to the login page. It doesn't actually then tell you who to contact if you have a problem. If you have a problem, Jake is the one to contact here. I mean, you can contact any of us and we'll tell you then go to him. But if you know to go to him directly, he would be the one to reset your password if it's not working, because you have to, it's an account you have to set up yourself. It's not something automatic. It's not like MyLeo. We have tutorials in D2L. I don't know if y'all have found those, but we have two tutorials. One's for kind of made for undergraduates and another for graduates. But if you go into D2L, the online course thing, and you'll see, I don't know if for me, they're at the top of my list of things, but those have a lot of information to help you. Are there anything that you would like, well, either for me to answer now or to get more information about and bring to you in a future meeting?
Dr. Lancaster,
Yes.
Dr. Lancaster, I just was curious because I encourage all future colleagues and students to take advantage of the journal searches and stuff, because please correct me if I'm wrong, I know the library and the university spend quite a bit of money on getting those subscriptions for the journals. Is that correct?
Getting what?
Subscriptions or permission to use those journals. Databases.
I don't understand what you mean.
Oh, I was just wondering, I know some universities pay to have access to like Journal of Counseling and Development and different types of journals. And so I just try to encourage folks to take as much advantage as possible of that journal access, because it's going to cost you after you graduate. So
Yeah, and if with the budget being really, they're really watching the budget. If something's not used, then it will likely be on the chopping block. So if there's something that is important, use it, because you wouldn't believe, how much it costs for the things. So they really want to only spend for what people are actually using. There are some things that we need sort of for accreditation, just to say we've got them, but it's also very important to have things that all of y'all, the users, faculty and staff and students are actually using and wanting. And the databases have a lot of features too, that can be helpful in, especially like in keeping track of your research. It's much different than it was when I started college, and you had to scribble notes and use a Xerox machine and stuff. Keep things in a paper folder.
Yeah.
That's why I was trying to search like 10 counseling journals at the same time, because we prioritize, finding stuff from counseling specific literature off the bat. And then, look in psychology and different, related areas. But I was hoping there would be a magical thing, but.
Well, you could go in, if you're in one of the EBSCO databases, and you, after you've done a search, if you go into the publications tab and click show more, and you'll come up with dozens of, and then you could just click the box by each of those journals that you were, that would be, to me, the easiest way to do what you were talking about.
Yes, I think that I've done that, and for whatever reason, I wasn't seeing the journals that I had in mind, and I thought, well, if I do a journal search and do like the ISSN or the journal name, and then but I was wondering if that was done quicker, which you kind of confirmed. If I was going to do that, yes, in fact, it would take a long time, but
it would be quicker if you got the ISSN, just to put that in rather than type out the whole title.
Gotcha. Yeah. So what I'm trying to do, and I'm hoping to recruit some people to help me, is find all of the ISSN numbers for our journals and just have that list for a quick search on multiple counseling journals. You had mentioned saving a search as well. Once we got those in there, is that correct? That we could
Yes,
save?
EBSCO, you can save searches.
Okay.
And you
Okay.
can find the ISSN numbers. Well, there are a number of places you can find them. I think you could find it in the one search if you but certainly you could find it in Ulrich's if you looked it up in that.
Okay. Yes, I didn't know about Ulrich, so that's very helpful. Thank you.
We have workshops, that are taught. Of course, they're generally Wednesday at noon, and y'all may be doing other things in the middle of the workday, but you'll find those. I think it goes out on the graduate listserv.
I wanted to take this time to ask if there were any other like specific questions regarding how to use the database or anything regarding dissertation or research in general. I know I was looking through the chat and I saw that they were asking if the PowerPoint would be like that we used in this presentation today was accessible through the library website or through YouTube.
Send it to you, but let me show you one thing. Because I could put it on my, let's see. If you go to those research guides and then go to any of them with like of mine, and if you click on my picture, you come to this page, which you don't have to pay attention to anything but these two things. These are links to past recordings that I did, workshops that I did, and then this is basically the same list, but it's the slides that I used in the thing. And these recordings are all just on my YouTube channel. So remember that in any of the research guides, just the link is my picture to go to this sort of personal page where I can put up whatever I want.
Very cool.
But I'll send these slides to you.
That'd be perfect. Thank you so much. I'm recording our presentation today too, and I can send that presentation to you, Dr. Lancaster, if you'd like.
Okay.
I plan to send it out to everyone that's here today and also that couldn't make it too.
But feel free, any of you, to contact me, and I'll be glad to work with you, or plan another group session whenever that you like.
Fantastic.
And if you want to get together and come up with things you want to cover, then you can give to me and I'll prepare for that.
That'd be awesome.
Or I can just, you can just bring it and we'll try to do it. May not need, if I have preparation time, that'll be better, but you can just come with whatever you want to ask.
Very good. I think that might be good that I bring to the CERC organization and also other colleagues that I have in the program to see if there's any places that maybe we're getting stuck when it comes to research and dissertation writing.
I'm also one of the people on campus that does the graduate school sends people to do authenticate reports for, I don't know if y'all are familiar with what that is. It's the last stages of the thing. And so if you have questions about authenticate, I can answer that as well.
That's wonderful. That was actually a question that I had from one of my classmates and colleagues, was about authenticating. So that'll be good that I can relay that to them to reach out to you about it. And also maybe we can talk more about it too.
If you want to send a document to me, to put through authenticate, I can do that.
That's helpful.
Usually, I think sometimes people in the education department, they send like their comprehensive exams. But mostly it's the final draft of a dissertation or thesis that they want, that I put through.
So that's helpful that you might be able to do that, only because, and I'll give you an example. So my dissertation is going to have a lot about COVID-19 and other types of like similar phrases within like the literature that really you can't use another phrase for. And so I don't want to wait until the very last minute to make sure I have it 12% or below. So if for some reason, we didn't know if students had that accessibility to check on their own prior to like the formal check.
Well, students can't have you can't get into it yourself, but
Right.
but someone else can put it through, and it's set to do like I don't know, it could be set, it's set to hopefully not account for things like
Okay.
a phrase like COVID-19 or no child left behind or something that's an actual title that have the same thing like with the math theses where there's these math equations, and how else can you say it,
Right. Well, thank you. That's so helpful that we can at least access someone who can give us an idea of what that's looking like. Appreciate it.
I had a question, just so I understand it. We can send the final, maybe just say the final draft to you to check. What if we can we send like the pre-final draft to you to check?
You can, yeah. Your advisor is supposed to be able to do that
Okay.
as well. And
Okay.
and just to make sure that they don't prefer to do it themselves. I don't know why. I was brought in when they first started using Authenticate before they had, were the rest of the faculty trained at doing it. And I don't know why that I continue to get, I don't mind it. I kind of find it interesting to work with Authenticate, but I think all the faculty can do it. I guess there's some that, have, I don't know, for whatever reason, I still get some sent to me and I don't mind doing it. Just, I don't want to, make sure that, your advisor doesn't want to do it themselves or something.
Okay.
I don't want to be like, doing something behind an advisor's back or something.
Yeah.
I think too, sometimes they'll do it, at certain parts as we're working through the dissertation process, and maybe that doesn't sometimes align with what the student, by that time, the anxiety is high, and probably, at least that for me, I would want to know like sooner. I don't want to get through a lot and then realize that I have to edit a lot. So that's why I was wondering about, if that could be sent at any point in that process, if for whatever reason the advisor wasn't able to do so.
Now, I don't really know what the threshold is, what percentage they want. I know they say around 12%, but it can be, I think, arguably it could be different for some things. But I do feel comfortable pointing out to people where the Authenticate report indicates that something needs to be in quotation marks, or that it's basically plagiarism the way it is coming out, and because that's something librarians deal with. But other than that, I can just sort of interpret what the thing is. I don't know. I can do another session where I show you what the report looks like if you're not familiar with it.
Oh, thank you. That would be helpful. Appreciate it.
I've put together some slides of some past things that have been sort of stripped of any, that it points to a particular person. But I think there might be that the recording of that session might be on my on that page I showed you. Yeah, it is. So you could look at that as well. And I think the slides are there too.
Okay, that's great. Thank you. I think that's going to be helpful to just sort of know what that looks like on that end.
All righty. Well, I know that a few people have had to jump off for maybe clients or whatever that they have going on throughout their day. I wanted to go ahead and say thank you so much, Dr. Lancaster, for coming and talking with us. You know, I'll kind of spend some time here at the end, you know, very briefly with people that are here with us now to just talk, you know, overall and see where we're at with research and things like that, and just some CERC updates and stuff. And we will definitely be in contact again in the future for more assistance. This has been very helpful.
Okay,
So much.
thank you. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Thank you. You too.
All righty. Howdy, everybody.
Hello.
I know that some people had to jump off because they had things that they had to go and run to, you know. I thank you all for taking an hour out of your day today, you know, especially Dr. Lancaster too, for taking an hour out of his day. I hope that, I know this was helpful for me. It was something that I've learned about. I'm not very tech savvy, so especially learning how to utilize the journals was something that I found very helpful.
Mhm. Yeah. I wish I'd have known about the quotation marks a little while ago. I thought I was doing everything right. I thought when you said and, you know, it was inclusive of the following words put together. I think I still got a thorough search on my lit review. I think it might have just taken a bit longer to get there, but it definitely was helpful. There were some things I didn't know. Does anyone want to help me on that ISSN number project? Like, I can send you some like 4 journals and you send me back 4 ISSN numbers and I'll compile like a large list. Okay, thank you, Terry. I'll compile a large list because it really would be cool to search counseling journals right off the bat, which is what I was trying to do painstakingly. And I thought, well, I'm going to put together this. So yeah. I'll send you a few, Terry, to look at, and then I think I've already done like 4 or 5, and anybody else who wants to, just let me know, and we'll share that with our group.
Okay.
That'd be great. That'd be great.
Mhm.
Very cool. Very cool.
Thanks for putting it together, Jimmy.
No, of course. And I know this was a group effort, all, you know, with all of us that we talked last, you know, I know that it was your idea, Brandy, where you're like, we need somebody to come and talk to us about some research stuff. I'm like, let's do it. Let's put this together.
Yeah, it's so Dr. Devlin, how you kind of looked at the Google search and found that book. Sometimes I'll spend hours on the library site and then, like, you know, have a migraine doing that and then go to Google and find even more that I didn't find there. So I know that it was more intricate than what I knew. And my hope is that I have a normal functioning brain, and maybe other people didn't know that either. So
Yeah, no, I find when I'm not finding as many results as I kind of think there should be, I just
right.
put in the words because Google has more of the technology, other, you know, with the Boolean phrases and stuff like that. I mean, it is a lot more advanced. You can just search it for peer reviewed, and I found a full list of quotes
Yeah.
and articles and crisis counseling in rural areas and disasters. So no, it was really informative.
Yeah.
I used the library database about 3 or 4 times a week. So
Right. Yeah.
but I was gonna say, Jimmy, did you tell everyone the good news?
Not yet, not yet, you know. So a CERC update that I would like to extend an invitation to everybody is, I have the email pulled up now and I'll just read it. It's from Jeremy Sipple. You know, he's over the student organizations at A&M Commerce. He said, "Good evening, congratulations, Counselor Education Research Consortium has been nominated for a group student organization award in the category of Student Org of the Year and New Student Org of the Year. The Student Organization Award ceremony and reception will be Tuesday, April 12th at 6 p.m. in the Ferguson Auditorium, with a reception to follow shortly after at 7 p.m. in the Alumni Center. We hope you are able to join and celebrate your organization's nomination. If you could please RSVP by Friday, April 8th. So we're still good on timing to RSVP.
Okay.
that'd be greatly appreciated. You may bring other members from your organization as well, and I want to open it up to everyone at CERC. Let's go and let's roll deep. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let's throw down. I don't know what kind of food they're gonna have, but yo, that's why I'm going. Just kidding.
Yeah.
If it wasn't 5 million hours away, I would be there.
Right. I'm thinking I'm gonna have, because I know Terry and I typically have class on Tuesdays from 4:30 to 7:30, 7:20. Sometimes we get out a
Well,
little
it's
bit
supposed to
early.
end at about 7:10, but usually it's what, 4:30, 5:30 to about 6:45 sometimes.
Oh, well, then maybe we can make it then. Here we go.
Yeah.
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 Well, I don't teach on Tuesday, so I'll definitely be attending
Very
to
good.
represent the organization and just I'm just so excited. When Jimmy sent me the text message, it was on April 1st. I thought it was an April Fool's Day thing, but then he followed up with the email to Jeremy. So I was like, oh, okay, this is legit. So I've already put it out to the department and everyone, Dr. Hendricks, and everyone's just so excited. And yeah, we're off to a great start, and it's a marathon, but it's worth it. And also on my end, I wanted to let you guys know, it's fine. It's official now. It's live. I have a course shell now in B12, the Counseling Resource Center. I've enrolled everyone in through the registrar's office. So that should be popping up on your D2L. It's gonna have, like right now I have like a folder of all the syllabi for the program. I'm gonna be putting in employment opportunities, scholarship opportunities, any announcements for the program, so we can kind of cut down on, emails, like getting all these emails and stuff like that. But we'll also have a discussion corner where people can say, hey, I need some help with this. So it's just centralizing everything. And there's a page for CERC on there, a tab for CERC, a tab for Chi Sigma Iota, all of that stuff, for KCREP and all of that. So I just want to let you know, we finally have moved into, out of the dark ages a little bit in terms of just having everything in the Dropbox. So now it's on D2L. If you can't find it on your D2L homepage, just let me know. You guys should be good to go. I have to update it for people that were admitted this semester. So I'll be doing that every semester, updating the resource center so to have everyone on board and sharing resources, or hey, I have this book, or what, just to create an open communication for everyone in the program.
I love it. I think about how, one thing with all the just colleagues, and more than just colleagues, peers, more than peers, but friends, all the wonderful connections we've made in the program. It's important for us to be there for one another. And so if there's research, like if there's items that we have for resources, let's share it and spread the wealth,
Yeah, definitely. And all you have to do is email me and say, hey, I would like to put this on the page, and it'll be up. And now I'm just working to get all the faculty were instructors on the page, but as soon as I integrated all the students from masters and doctorate, they kicked the faculty out, just me. So now I'm trying to get the faculty back on so they can access it as well. But yeah, with all the syllabi, all the resources for clinical forms, course rotations, all that stuff's there. So just trying to centralize it and just make it just more turnkey. Make it, work smarter, not harder. You guys know what I always say about that. So I just want to let you know, and Jimmy and the rest of you, I greatly appreciate all of you, and thank you for putting this on tonight, because I was looking at your reactions and nodding and asking questions. it's going to give you such a leg up with dissertation and things like that. And I'm so glad. So next month, I'm thinking about inviting my colleague. It's related to research, talking about his international experiences in research. His name's Dr. Brian Canfield. He's out of Florida Atlantic University to come speak to the group. And also he'll be definitely making this pitch for our new organization, the International Association of Psychology and Counseling. Because we have now we have reps from, I think, 23 countries. And he's recruiting for people to come to the Family Institute this summer, which is going to be held in Oxford. And then we're also looking at doing IATP delegation to Turkey in the fall.
We didn't get that one. You faded out.
Oh, it's our delegation. We're going to be going to Turkey in the fall.
Oh,
So he's going to be recruiting for that. But the Oxford one, and then there's one in Edinburgh as well.
I
So
want to go.
yeah, I mean, and you definitely work with you on cost and everything. Right now, we're trying to get 60 people. Right now
Oh,
we have
yeah.
25 people. So you'll be meeting professors that work at Oxford and also the University of Edinburgh. And it's like a 2-week trip. You know, sightseeing. You stay at the dorms at the university. So it's a really cool thing. So that's who I'm hoping to get for our next guest speaker. So we can get the international side of it as well. But no, thank you all, and especially Jimmy. Thank you for making this, for everyone. Taking the reins. So happy to see this up and running and be nominated. That's going to be that's going to stand out to the department. I mean, obviously we're nominated because of the quality of our organization. So I'm just excited. I'll be there on the 12th. Try to get the word out, and yeah. So just Jimmy, I'll email you as soon as I talk to Brian. See what his schedule looks like. I know he's going to be going to Cyprus soon. He's got a private practice in Shreveport. And then he's a professor at Florida Atlantic with Paul Puso and Len Sperry. But he goes to Malaysia. He's a traveling guy. So we just have to lock him down. So I'm talking to him tomorrow. But no, I'll let you guys all enjoy your Saturday. And thanks again. I really appreciate all your guys' hard work.
Thank
Looking
you.
forward to next time.
All right, guys, take it easy.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. Bye.